But what I saw is from the moment he was elected, I mean, in 2016, there were headlines in paper saying, you know, the countdown to impeachment's on. You had Democrats who wasn't in the majority at the time talking about these are impeachable, and it just kept building up. And it was never something pointed at an act. I believe always the founders had intended this very important check and balance. I believe it should be used if needed. And it's something Congress must hold sacred. I think too many times in Congress, we take our role and we've given it away. And you brought up, you know, as we've talked about, you know, declaring war. But sometimes we think about that, but yet we also control the purse strings. We could stop or start one anytime we wanted to, but we sort of let that go to other agencies. Impeachment is one that we can't let become part of popular fodder. We need to be at a point, and what we saw in this, a point to take a action against a president who needs to be. It needs to be deliberate, it needs to be thoughtful, it needs to be investigated. It doesn't need to be simply because we don't like you. And they gave me no reason over the course of this and the hearings and everything to say it was mainly because we just don't like you, Donald Trump. We don't like your style, we don't like your tweets, we don't like who you are. And so when they brought out the impeachment article and why I wrote this was, you had this abuse of power. And a reporter asked me about my opinion of that abuse of power. I said they put that in there because they didn't have anything to, quote, charge with, but every member of their party could now go, here's what I don't like about Donald Trump, and that's the abuse of power. I didn't like the way he talked about immigrants. I didn't like the way he talked about Congress. I didn't like that. So the abuse of power became generic. Be careful, because, and it's happened in both parties, this word, I don't like what Barack Obama did, so Republicans, let's impeach him. W. Bush was in war, let's impeach him. My concern is if it becomes so commonplace, the threats, and especially if it becomes visceral, then what happens when we have someone who needs to really be investigated, who does need to be held accountable by a Congress and removed from office? Will there still be the same standard of impeachment, or will it be something that the executive branch just dismisses? That's my concern.